Hey, hi then again. We'll be starting in a moment. I just wanted to give us a little hello to all the people whom I didn't say hello to but have now put in the chat. I want to pick out Lazar. Lazar, down in Australia, 3:55, well, 3:59 a.m. Man, kudos to Lazar for being up at this stupid o'clock time to join in with all of us here to do some busy thumbing. So thank you so much. Right, let's begin. I think we were a few seconds early, but hey, what's a few seconds between friends? Right, welcome to Vintage Club number 15. It's actually the 16th one I've done because we snuck one in a couple of weeks ago, maybe a few more, after numbers 14 and 15 had already been scheduled. This is titled number 15. It's actually the 16th one that I've done. It's the third one that we are covering fingerstyle guitar. They were previously Vintage Clubs 7 and 10. What I'd be interested in before we actually start, maybe do a thumbsy uppy or a handsy up. People who have not previously attended the two fingerstyle vintage clubs that we did. So this is your first one with me doing fingerstyle. I wonder how many we'll get. Oh goodness, quite a lot already appearing along the top and in the chat. We've got just over 100 people here, and I'm reckoning on like 10+% of you maybe weren't here. So what I'm going to do then, definitely for you people, is a quick recap. I was going to do one anyway, but I think I'll stretch the recap out for a few extra minutes and show you some of the things that were previously there. Hopefully you did go back and read the resources and look at the materials and try some of the suggested practice exercises and so on. So it won't all be brand new to you. In those days though, we were not publishing the recordings, so you couldn't actually see what was being taught. It's only in the written format of that PDF document. And the associated tabs and MP3 tracks and things that come with that. Okay, so let's begin there. Let's begin with a recap and go through some of the things that you've missed. Where were you? What were you doing? I hope you had something really super important that kept you from us. Okay, before I go to a share screen, last time out, I shared it in a particular way where it was split 50-50, and then I had to change it because people couldn't see the actual screen and the text properly. Can you let me know if this is good? This should now be, most of the screen is the text, and just tucked away in a little corner is, you know, a video if you're seeing that. So hopefully that's good. Right, so fingerstyle recap. We use our thumb and fingers, and they are assigned to certain strings. We'll talk about that in a moment. We'll go to a little graphic of a left and a right hand, because I know some people play left and some people play right. We looked at some 6/8 finger picking patterns. That's where Justin starts in the beginner course, a 6/8 finger picking pattern. Classic songs for that would be Everybody Hurts, Hallelujah, House of the Rising Sun. We looked at some 4/4 patterns which come afterwards. There's something about 6/8 that's a nice easy entry point for fingerstyle. 4/4 isn't more difficult. It is just a nicer follow one perhaps. Then we looked at something I call canonish in C. I stole a chord progression from a Mr. Pachelbel, who wrote it in the key of D. I put it in the key of C to make it easier, and it's a simplified version of the canon in D. Then we looked at these idea I call a pinch, where your thumb and one other finger play a simultaneous pinch. So they're each playing a note at the same time at the start of a bar. So a single pinch, static, is on the count of 1. And then we did a double pinch static. So the pinch happened on the count of 1 and on the count of 3. It was evenly spaced through the bar. The static refers to the fact that your thumb stayed where it was. Your thumb is on the root and it stays on the root for those 2 pinch ideas. But then we did a double pinch moving. And what was happening there, we were still pinching on the 1 and the 3, but the thumb moved off the root, which it plays on the 1, to another string, which it plays on the 3. We made that string the 4th string to keep it simple. And then we also pushed on to going beyond playing just quarter notes to playing 8th notes. Okay, let's go to the next slide. 2 secs. This is what I was talking about in terms of the assignation. the where you put your fingers and your digits. So your thumb takes care of the 3 thicker strings, the E, the A, and the D. It has to move around. So the title loosely of this session is Busy Thumb. It's already quite busy because it's got to find a new place if you're changing to a chord where the root note is on a different string. C, your thumb is on string 5. A D chord, your thumb is on string 4. An E minor chord, your thumb is on string 6. It moves about, but the fingers don't move. Your index finger, finger 1, is on string 3. Your middle finger is on the B string, the 2nd string, and your ring finger is on the high E string, the 1st string. There is a convention, it's mainly used in classical music, Pima or Pima, I'm not sure what people's preferred pronunciation is, where those 4 digits are assigned a letter based on a Latin word. I don't use that, I'm not going to use that, I just want you to see it because you may already know it or you may come across it at some point in time. Okay, this was a simple 6/8 pattern that we used. I stuck with beginner chords to start with to make it accessible to everybody. So our thumb played on beat 1 and then our fingers ascended and descended for beats 2 to 6 in a 6/8 pattern. It would sound like this. And then E. And the double dots indicate it repeats, but I'm not going to do that. Your thumb moves to the root note, and that's all it does, once per bar. Your fingers stay on the same exact pattern no matter what the chord is. Strings 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. That was our 6/8 pattern. Then we looked at a 4/4 pattern, and now we were just playing 4 times in the bar, so it's virtually the same as we've just seen minus 2 notes that we were playing, because we don't descend once we hit the top, once we hit the high E string. That would sound like this. Okay, so that was thumb, followed by fingers 1, then 2, then 3, or thumb, index, middle, ring, depending on how you want to name them. This was our canonish in C. If you don't know this chord progression, it's a really nice one to learn and to play with. And we did this with the same picking pattern that we just had, but then we did some variations. I'm not going to do them all. I'll play this through the one time only. Thumb, index, middle, ring, or thumb, fingers, 1, 2, 3. Mini bar F. All right, so that was our simple, nice, easy, gentle walk into fingerstyle play. If you haven't messed around with the Canonish, there are 4 versions of this simple one, and there are 4 versions of the more complex ones that we'll see in a minute. So we played it with a single pinch. Remember I said 2 fingers together. If you look at the pinch, it's happening underneath the chord diagram, so it's on beat 1. It's always going to be the root note of the chord with the high E string. So it's a pinch between thumb and 3rd finger. And then your fingers do exactly what they were doing in that first bit of the pattern, which is ascending, index, middle, ring. So you get this melody that you can hear in the top end, as well as the bass notes moving. That pinch gives it a different life. Okay, then we did a double pinch. I won't play this, I want to move on and crack on with today's work, but the double pinch, I'll play the first chord only, is pinch like we just did on the count of 1. Our fingers are still going to ascend, index, middle, ring, but as soon as we reach count 3, now that's when our middle finger is playing on the B string, we pinch on the root note again, so it's thumb with 2nd finger on that one. 2 pinches. I'll do that one more time on the C chord. Okay. And then we did a double pinch moving. So now the thumb plays the root note first, and then it goes to string 4 for its next pinch inside of every measure for every chord. Apart from the F chord if we're playing it as a mini, because the root note is on string 4. But if you're playing it as a full bar chord, you're going from string 6 root note to string 4. So I'll just, again, do only the C chord. I won't play through the full thing because it'll take up time. Oops, sorry, messed up. So in the bass, you're hearing this movement. That's happening in the bass, and in the melody, you're hearing that movement. And again, it gives it a new life and a bit of impetus in there. Okay, let's move on. Finally, we got quite adventurous with our chord shapes and with our picking pattern. We looked at something called eighths in terms of chord harmony. These were approximations of major and minor chords, but you only have to press down 2 strings. For a major shape, it's 2 frets apart, and for a minor shape, it's 1 fret apart. You're playing on strings 5 and 2. For a C major, that's at frets 3 and 5, as you can see. And that was a pinch. And this was a double pinch. I've put double pinch moving. Actually, that's wrong. It should be double pinch static. I apologize for that. Double pinch static, because our thumb doesn't stray away from the 5th string. It stays on it. So that's what we've got going on there. Pinch, index, middle, pinch, middle, index, middle. Oh, messed it up again. Really sweet sounding. Now, this is a good segue into what we are going to be heading towards later on. If you look at the count, the numbered count above those tab and the chord names, 1, 2 and, 3 and, 4 and. I want you to remember that. 1, 2 and, 3 and, 4 and, because that's where we're heading. A quarter note, played with a pinch it's going to be, so you've got to let it ring out for the duration of a quarter, followed by 3 successive eighth notes, 2 and 3 and 4 and, because we're heading to something like this. My thumb is busy. So I'm going to strip away what we were doing there. My thumb is not playing twice per bar, it's playing 4 times per bar. It's moving from the root note on string 5 to the other note on string 4. Now I was holding down a C chord, so that's the note. This is what we mean by a busy thumb. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. It's playing every beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now, if you've never played 4 beats with your thumb, if you've never tried this fingerstyle approach, I'm going to take you straight into it. We're going to dive in quite quickly to the deep end and go for it. You'll hear this referred to as Travis picking. The idea behind Travis picking is the thumb is this rhythm monster. It's taking care of 1, 2, 3, 4. It's setting the beat. It's setting everything as a foundation for what our fingers do on top of that, which might be melodic. If any of you attended the special guest fingerstyle class Justin had with Joe Robinson, I mean, he is superb. He's an expert in this field. I am not an expert in this field by any means. I don't do what Joe Robinson does in my own playing. He plays real melodic fingerstyle, finger arrangements, where his thumb is doing the busy stuff, his fingers are taking care of the melody, he's doing some rhythmic hitting, all of that. That's not me. I'm not an expert in that. But at fundamental level, what Joe is doing and what Tommy Emmanuel is doing, if I dare mention his name in such a class with little old me, is that. Their thumb is constantly on the go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's where we're heading. We're going to start with that, but we're very, very quickly going to introduce fingers so we can do. And if you've never done it or seen it, it might look like magic. But in 10 or 15 minutes, you'll be doing this, I guarantee it. Right, we've got some hands up. Are these hands up for very important things, or are they legacy hands up from earlier on? If you just let me know in the chat, I'll go at the bottom there. Something about volume too low. Which volume? Guitar or voice? I can turn one or both of them up. Okay, this is the voice going up. Is that better, hopefully? And this is the guitar going up. How's that? Is that better, louder, good enough? Perfect. No, I'll take that. Perfect and a thumbs up. Right then. I'm going to go back to the screen share, but I won't stay on it as long. I want to go to screen share to show you something, but come back off to practice it together. And we'll also be practicing with the metronome or a drum beat. Okay. Right, busy thumb. You can see there, what I've got tabbed out are 4/4 beats, but with a cross in the tab. So that means we're playing on muted strings. Strings 5 and then 4, and 5 and then 4. That's all we're doing. So I'll come off that, you've seen it. I want you to just lightly touch your guitar strings. So you've got no sound coming from them. And I just want you to get your 3 fingers kind of loosely touching those strings. That's the bass. So put them to, to home. Allow them to be comfy inside. But your thumb is going to be doing that. Notice that my thumb is sticking out away from my hand. It's not hidden behind my fingers, because if I do that, my wrist is at a strange angle that feels weird. And if I were to move my fingers up as well, they're going to crash into each other. So get your thumb a little bit out, and you do that by adjusting the angle of your wrist mainly. And I'll do a counting, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll go according to a 60 beats per minute drum track. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Start counting yourselves. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 more. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, hopefully your thumb is just finding that's all right. And if so, we can move on. We will move on. Okay, here is a 60 beats per minute drum track. Now on the 1, there's a little cymbal or a hi-hat sound. So I'm going to listen to it a few times, get locked into it, make sure I know where the 1 is. I'll start counting first, and then we'll do just what we were doing then. One, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. We're going to go now. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to stop playing. I want you to take it over. Three more times. Last one. Okay, well, let's do this with a chord. We're being percussive, we're not being harmonic with chord. So C chord, C major. Now we're only playing 2 strings, but I want you to get in the habit, because we'll soon need it, of forming the entire chord, please. And we'll be playing what we just played. That 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to go straight to the metronome. I'll listen to it, I'll count it, I'll set us off, and then I'll stop and you can take over. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. This time 3, 4. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. I'm stopping now. You keep going. Last one. Okay, that was on a C chord, and what we're completely ignoring here are the two E strings. That's okay. We're not going to be using them today. I wouldn't have thought. We might, depending on how time goes, but these aren't necessary. It's going to be all in the middle, these four strings in the middle. So our next chord is A minor. But we're just keeping the thumb busy for the moment. So it's going to be on the 5th and 4th string. Just like that. Root note and then 4th string. That's what you're going to be doing, but your fingers are holding the A minor chord. Let's go with the drum beat. 3, 4. 1, 2. Going straight into it now. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Keep going. Two more. Last one. All right, hopefully you're finding this is coming. Nice step-by-step guide. Can we have a quick thumbsy upsies in the screen or in the chat, just so I know that you're moving along with me and I don't need to spend more time on that? Is this going all right? Okay, lots of thumbs ups. Yeah, okay, let's move on then. So we've played a C chord. We played an A minor chord. No prizes for guessing what we're going to do next. We're going to turn that into a 2-chord, 2-bar loop chord progression where we're doing C major first, and then A minor second. Now, if you want to focus all of your attention on what your right hand is doing, or your picking hand, I should say, what your picking hand is doing, and you don't want to worry too much about chord changes because that's a bit something you struggle with maybe, go with an A minor 7 at the moment, and all that involves from the C is lifting that up. You don't need to tuck it in for an A minor 7, it just, the third finger doesn't get used. C, A minor 7, I'm going to go C, A minor. It's a bit more of shifting around, but that's what we're doing. Okay, so straight to the drum track. We'll do a few of these, get you in the habit of it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Here we go. 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. A minor. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, quiet now and let you take over. Keep going. Two more. Okay. Well, hey, congratulations. You have got a busy thumb, playing on every beat, and you're doing the chord change. You're cracking the back of this. But there's more to come. So let's see what it is to come. First of all, we need to understand some of the terminology I'm going to be using if you've never come across this. What I'm playing here, I call it pinch inside, outside, inside. I'm not the only one, it's what it's called. Pinch. Well, we've seen that if you've attended the previous ones or if you were here at the recap. Pinch. Two strings together, thumb and a finger. Inside, outside, what do they possibly mean? Well, it refers to the sets of strings as pairs. Now remember I said we're ignoring the E strings today, so if they don't exist, if they're invisible, pretend they're not there, the outside that we've got on our string sets that we're playing are the fifth and the second strings. These two are the outside. So these two, strings 4 and 3, are the inside. I'll show it to you graphically on a diagram. It might make even more sense if it made none just then. Let me scoot past these because we've done all of that. That's what our 2-bar chord progression. Okay, so here is a color-coded tab. The two E strings, I've named them wide. Later on, when we move to chords that don't exist only with a root note on string 5, we need to think about the wide strings, the two E strings. But at the moment, we're not. We're only thinking about the A and the B strings coded green here. They are our outside pair. And the D and the G strings coloured yellowy orange, they are our inside pair. We're doing something called pinch inside, outside, inside. So that kind of suggests where we're going with this. If I take it back a second, we're playing it as a 4/4 time signature. And the count, I mentioned this earlier when I ended my recap, is 1, 2 and, 3 and, 4 and. The 1 followed by the underscore there is showing that that sustains for a full quarter. And then the 2 and, 3 and, 4 and are eighths. So we've got 1 lasting for a quarter, 2 and, that's our inside notes, 3 and is our outside notes, and then we're back to inside notes again, 4 and. Okay, so inside and outside, in is always played with our thumb. Whenever we're thinking of the word or the prefix in, it's a thumb note. If you want to do it as count, it's obviously going to be 2, 3, 4, the numbered beats. Because remember, our busy thumb is playing 1, 2, 3, 4. So in, out, in is 2, 3, 4. And that means that the ands, or the side, the suffix side is always played with one of our fingers. And for what we're doing today, it's only going to be either the index finger or the middle, the second finger. Here is a tab with muted strings, and we're going to look at this nice and slow before we actually turn it into something that we play as a cycle, looping it around. So with muted strings, we've got a pinch on the count of 1, and the pinch is thumb and second finger on the outside pair. The outside pair, remember, are green, color-coded green, so that's strings 5 and 2, pinch. And then we've got inside. I've split the word. In is a thumb on string 4. Side is index finger on string 3. And then we've got outside. So we're back to 5 and 2. But this time we play them in succession, not together. It's not a pinch. So we've got thumb on string 5 and the second finger on string 2. That's outside. And we finish off with the same as we had for the inside, which is thumb on string 4, index finger on string 3. I'm going to come off screen share and show you a close-up of that. So I'll go to my other camera, see if we've got that nicely in. Okay, so that's my 3 fingers on their strings. That's my thumb ready on string 5, but actually I'm going to relax these away. All I want to start with is thumb and finger 2 for pinch. Then I've got inside. That's thumb and index. Thumb and index for inside. Then my thumb goes back to string 5. Thumb and second for outside. And then I go back to inside, thumb and index. So I played multiple repeats of each one there, so I'll just do it as a full pattern and then stop. Pinch, inside, outside, inside. Again, pinch, inside, outside, inside. Now I'm going to do it to a 60 BPM drum track. Follow along. I'll keep my camera view on this so you can see and hear what's going on. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pinch, inside, outside, inside, 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 pinch, inside, outside, inside. Okay. Hopefully 1 or 2 of these views is good for you and you're picking it up. But let's do it with a chord. I'm just going to hold down a C chord. And this is going to give you an actual proper sound with notes that will help you hear and feel it a little bit better maybe. So I'm playing a C chord. You don't need to see what this hand is doing. It's a C chord and it sounds like this. Pinch, inside, outside, inside, pinch, inside, outside, inside. Join in. Inside, outside, inside. Pinch. Inside, outside, inside. Pinch. Inside, outside, inside. Pinch. Inside, outside, inside. Keep going. Last one. Exactly the same thing, but now on an A minor chord. Pinch, inside, outside, inside. Pinch, inside, outside, inside. Keep going. Pinch, inside, outside, inside. Pinch, inside, outside. You keep going. I'm going to be quiet. See how you get on. Okay, let's see if we can put the C and the A minor chord together. Nice and slow, but once we've got the hang of it, we'll go back to the 60 BPM drum beat. I'll start us off with a count in. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's just going to give us the tempo, but I'll do 2 count throughs before we revert to then saying pinch, inside, outside, inside. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pinch, inside, outside, and change chord. Inside, pinch, inside, outside, inside, pinch, inside, outside. Join in. Pinch, inside, outside, inside, pinch, inside, outside, inside, pinch, inside, outside, inside, pinch, inside, outside, pinch, inside, outside, inside, pinch, inside. I'm going to be quiet now, you take over. Right. Let's do it to a drum track. Firstly, Mike has got a raised hand. Mike, is this an urgent issue?
Yes, Richard, can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
When you are doing that pinch, you are doing a little break here. Why are you doing it?
Doing a break.
Yeah, you have a little delay when you do the pinch. You
Okay,
have a little space between.
right. Let's go look back at the tab again. Hopefully this will explain it. And I can annotate on here. So the pinch, if we're doing the count, it's a count of 1 and. So it's occupying a quarter of a beat, or a quarter beat. If you look at the remaining sections, they already have 2 and, 3 and, 4 and. So they're playing eighths. So when you do a pinch, it has to last the same duration as a quarter, but you only play once inside of that time. You don't play twice. So you get that delay of pinch, and then you wait until the count of 2 comes along. And as soon as the count of 2 comes along, you are now thinking in terms of eighths, 2 and 3 and 4 and. So if we were counting it with numbers, it would be 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I can see it now. I can, after beat 1, I can say "and" in my head, and that's the space where I don't play, because the pinch is played on the 1.
Right, okay. If you want
Yeah,
to count it as 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and that helps you, then go for it. I tend to say out loud pinch, inside, outside, inside, because that's sending messages from my brain to my fingers of where to go. And I already have the connection about when they're doing it. But if you need to send the signal to your hand when by counting numbers 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and then change the words that you say out loud. Okay, so
okay, thank you very much.
1, 2 and 3 and 4 and pinch, inside, outside, inside. They occupy the same space. Okay, so it's just a question of choosing which one you speak or think or say.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, great. No worries, Mike. Right then, what have we got coming up next? Well, we're heading towards the moment you've all been waiting for, I'm sure. It's this. If you don't know it, why don't you know it? It's a classic. It's a dreamer song. It's I'm going to call it Dusty Wind, but I think everybody ought to know what that is. This is the reason we've been doing a C and an A minor, and this is the reason we've been focusing on these 4 strings only for what we've been doing here. So this classic piece of guitar music, I think it's played quite a bit faster than that, but we're not doing it at the full tempo, is basically a C chord and an A minor chord with pinch, inside, outside, inside going on all the way, but you're doing some embellishment work. Fingers 2 and 3 stay planted here on the C chord, and they stay planted here on the A minor chord. But your first finger and your little finger, I'm not going to say pinky, I'm English, we don't say pinky. Your first finger and your little finger have got to be doing some pressing down or lifting away in a very particular pattern that basically goes 3, 1, open, 3, 1, open, 3, 1, open, 3, 1, open, repeatedly, but it doesn't start at 3, it starts at 1. 1, open, 3, 1, open, 3, 1. That's what's going on, hidden in amongst all those chord changes and things. And when you lift or put something down, you're going from a C to a C major 7, to a C add 9, back to a C. I'll show you these in a moment. Now for the A minor, you actually start with just 2 fingers. So that's an A sus 2. Then a little finger has to go down, A sus4, true A minor, and then lift away again back to sus2. It doesn't repeat that exactly, but we'll start with those. Okay, so our first 4 measures of pinch, inside, outside, inside, start on a C. This is what we've been doing, so hopefully you're fine with that. The only change that's coming is lift your index finger off. Thumb and fingers on your picking hand are identical. Now you've got to be accurate here. There's a tendency for a little finger to want to go to little first string because it's used to it. It doesn't. It's got to go to the second string. Just be careful of that. It might be that you've got to look and will it. Force of will, mental agility and everything. And then back to C. Okay, let's look at this on a tab. I've got a tab here for you. Now, copyright might prevent me from putting this into the document I share. So if you want a record of this, maybe you know what to do. There's the tab of that first 4 measures based around a C chord. Regular C. Lift off your index finger. Place down your little finger and then regular C. So I'll do it nice and slow with a count in 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and pinch inside, outside, inside. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and pinch inside, outside, inside. Okay. We do it one more time, then we're going to look at the next 4 bars, which is the A minor E type thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Next up, following immediately from that, is you go to form an A minor, but actually you do need to lift your index finger away. It's been in use for the last bar on that C chord. You're lifting it away because you're starting with an A sus2, just 2 fingers at fret 2. So it's not a full A minor because your index finger isn't there. You need an open second string. So that's where we start, with the A sus2. After that, the second measure, you need your little finger going down again and fret 3 of the B string, not the E string, the B string. You need to hear that note up top on the pinch. Then it's a regular A minor. And then you lift index finger off again. So here is a pattern that we are getting. Whatever chord, whatever shape or fingering, you start a 4-bar cycle with, that's the one you also end with. C ends on a C. A sus2 ends on an A sus2. Okay, so let's play this through nice and slow with a count in. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and pinch inside, outside, inside, pinch, inside, out, and again, inside, pinch, inside, outside, inside. Sus4, inside, outside, inside. A minor, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and... Okay, let's see if we can put that together. So here's a reminder of the 4 C chords. C, then you lift off, then your little finger goes down, then C. What you start with is what you end with. A sus2, then your little finger, then A minor, and then A sus2. We'll play this 3 times and then we'll look where it goes to develop. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pinch, inside, outside, inside, pinch, inside, outside, inside, pinch, inside, outside, inside, pinch. A sus2 is coming up. Inside, outside, inside. Little finger. A minor. Inside, outside. Sus2. Okay, that's half of this classic intro to this song. The next transition, you're finishing on an A sus2. The next transition is the one that I think people find the trickiest. You've got to jump and land on the C add 9 as your start chord, but also remember it's going to be the end chord of the 4-bar part. Going from A sus2, this is an anchor finger, but you've got to lift 3rd finger away and make that up there onto the root note on a C, and simultaneously get your little finger onto the B string, fret 3. Okay, and because it's happening as a pinch, these 2 fingers have got to get there. Okay, you've got to get them there, bang on that count of 1. It's got to be that clean, but you'll get there if you fumble it. Hey, it's something to learn and practice. So on this C chord, we start on the add 9. Remember I was saying it's 1, 0, 3, 1, 0, 3. So we're starting at 3. We're going to C. We're lifting off. And we're going back to the add 9. Here is the tab for this part. There it is. Starts on the C add 9. Finishes on the C add 9. That's our first bar. C, regular C. Lift your index finger off, major 7. Put your little finger back down. Okay, we'll play this through 2 times as a loop without stopping. I'll count it in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pinch, inside, outside, inside, pinch, inside, outside, inside, pinch, inside, outside, inside, pinch, inside. And again, starting on the C add 9. Lift finger off. End on C add 9. Okay, and the final part, we start on A minor. So it closes on an A minor. And then from A minor, we lift away index finger for the sus2. Then we place little finger down for the sus4. And then we go back to A minor. Nice and simple. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pinch, inside, outside, inside. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and pinch, inside, outside. Keep going. Pinch, inside, outside, inside. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and pinch, inside, outside, inside. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and okay. Right, that is all 16 bars, or 16 measures. 4 of C, 4 of A minor, 4 of C, 4 of A minor, but with these little twiddly diddly first finger, little finger embellishments, we get the classic Dusty Wind intro. It's not just the intro, actually, it appears throughout the song, doesn't it? We're actually on time in terms of 8 o'clock, so that is the hour up. If you have to leave, thank you for coming. I really appreciate you being here. I understand if you have to leave, maybe you've got commitments, or it's super early or it's super late where you are. I'm going to do a little overtime for those who are able to stay. There's only a few questions in the Q&A, so our overtime is going to be playing this entire 16-bar piece through multiple times, really slow, just to try and get the hang of it. If the video of this doesn't get zapped by aliens, then you'll also see this on probably an extended recording that will get released by Fanny at some point. Okay, here we go if you're ready for it. 1, 2, 3. Start on a C. Lift. Little finger. Back to C. A sus2. Little finger. A minor. Lift. Awkward one, C add 9. C. Lift. Little finger. A minor. Lift. Little finger. A minor. Back to the beginning with a C. Lift. Inside, outside, side, pinch. Inside, outside, inside, pinch. Inside, outside. A sus2. 2 and 3 and 4 and little finger. A minor. 2 and 3 and 4 and lift. 2 and 3 and 4 and awkward one. Then C. And lift. 2 and 3 and 4 and back down. A minor. Then lift. Little finger. Back to C. Lift. little finger. A sus2. Little finger. C add 9 coming up. Two and three and four and pinch. Inside, outside, inside, pinch. Inside, outside, inside. A minor. Inside, outside, inside, pinch. Inside, outside, inside, pinch. Inside, outside, inside, pinch. Side, back to C. 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 keep it going. We'll do one more after this. A minor. Little finger. Oops. Last one then, starting on a C. And lift. Little finger. A sus2. Little finger. C add 9. Finishing with the A minor. And lift. Little finger. And strum a C chord. Okay. Right, that was probably 6 or 7 cycles through that. Hopefully you managed to keep up or at least follow what was going on and understand the concept, even if you need to do it at a slower pace and take a lot more time. If I'm unable to share the tab that I've written out, maybe you took a little quick sneaky screenshot or photograph of it and you've got it to follow. It's probably available online even if I can't put it up on the Justin site. Okay, right, shall we go to the Q&A? I don't think there are many, but let's see what we've got in here. 3 questions. Right, from Mike, are single pinch, double pinch and C tabs on Club Archive to download, please? Yes, Mike. Club 7 and Club 10 is when we did Fingerstyle previously. All of the pinch exercises and explanation tab MP3, which you click on a link in the document and it takes you to a Dropbox audio. That is all in the resources. Look under the resources section in the archive. From Ashu, any recommendations for when to change a chord on the and after 4 or after it? That terrible, horrible, pesky and after 4. It is the bane of our lives, isn't it? You're doing something on the and after 4, and you need to go somewhere else to a new chord for the 1 that's coming. When you're doing this kind of play, unfortunately, you've just got to take that micro fraction of a second and do it in the space that it gives. So 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and we're playing that note. Oh, it's actually an open string on the C chord. That's lucky for us. But we still got to make the move to the next chord in that tiny space. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1. You've just got to go really slow. So that you give yourself all the time you need, because that is a definite regular pulse that's happening there, and you need to fit into it. So if you need it to be wider, you've got to slow your tempo right down. And finally from Alfio, why is it still called C chord when the pinky is on the 2nd string, 3rd fret? Okay, lovely. Oh, that gives me a perfect opportunity. Alfio was asking about a bit of theory. Why is this still called a C chord? It's theory. Wednesday, 2 days from now, I'm standing in for Justin. I'm utterly privileged to be able to take on Justin's Theory Live Club this week. Same time, Justin does his later, but I'm doing mine at my normal 7 p.m. UK time. It'd be great if you could be there. Okay, so this is a C chord. Root note C. That note there is the 3rd. So it's a major chord because it's a major 3rd. It's the note E, C, D, E. Think of do, re, mi. Do, re, mi. Note E, the note E. So we've got a C major chord because it has a C root note and a major 3rd. What happens beyond that doesn't change the fact that it's a type of C chord, and it doesn't change the fact that it's major in character. So we can add a different note somewhere else. That note there is just another C, it's a repeat of the root. So if we take it out of the equation and replace it on the same string with that note, we're adding in an additional note to our chord. It's the note D. Now if you think back when I did this, do, re, mi, 1, 2, 3, that's D. So you might think it's the 2, and it is, but we call it the 9 because as soon as you count in a major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is the repeat of the octave root. 9 is a repeat of the 2. So 2 and 9, they're the same note, but separated by an octave. Open D string is the 2. D note here is the 9. So you call it a C add 9. But I'm still saying it's a C type of chord. A C chord, a C type of chord, it's a major 7. A C type of chord, it's an add 9. And then a C. I'll extend, you didn't ask this, but I'll extend it. That's an A minor. We're thinking of chords that are loosely based around A minor. sus2 and sus4 actually are not major and they're not minor, they are neither, because they don't have that all-important 3rd. They don't have a major 3rd and they don't have a minor 3rd. It's been replaced with a 2nd or a 4th. So sus2 and sus4 could happily sit alongside A major as well, but because we keep going back to A minor, we're grouping them all as belonging together, even though strictly speaking, that's not minor. And that's not minor. I'm just thinking A minor thoughts because that's what they keep coming back to. Right, if you've got other questions on theory, please follow the link that I keep posting about in the various community topics and WhatsApp groups. Other than that, oh, hang on, we've got some new questions coming in. All right, Alfia, why is it still cut? Yeah, I've answered that one. Okay, so from Mike R, would it be acceptable to leave all the plucking of the and after 4 in order to pick the next chord on time? If it sounds good, it is good. You're losing a little bit of something. It would sound like this. That's me missing the and after 4, which is the index finger hitting 3rd string. That note there. You lose something, but if it means you can access and play it a little bit easier to start, to reintroduce it at the end, then hey, go for it. You're just playing a very slightly modified version, aren't you? And finally, H from Heck, would it be an inversion? I think Heck must be asking about these various Cs. No, that's not an inversion. An inversion is when you take a chord, any chord, and play it with a different note to the root as the lowest bass sounding note. So that's C, and the lowest note in the chord is C. So it's not an inversion. But you might often see people playing a bigger C where they stick those 2 fingers there. And now you've got this as the lowest note, and it isn't the note C. It's a different note to the root, so that is an inversion. And quite often that would just be called a slash chord as well. The note is G, so it's C slash G or C over G. But strictly speaking, that is an inversion, and they happen a lot and all the time and everywhere. Okay, that's it, folks. Quite a bit of overtime today. I hope it was worth it for you. I hope you have gained something at least as you've developed your busy thumb.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And you're going to sit there and twiddle your thumbs. Even when you haven't got your guitar in hand, you're going to be doing this, I hope, and developing that habit. And you'll be holding your wife's hand and she'll be saying, "What are you doing?" You say, "Oh, sorry, I've got my busy thumb on." Okay, that's it. I'll leave the Zoom open for you all to use your chat to say goodbye, to post whatever you want in there. But I'm going to disappear and I'm going to mute myself. So I will see you maybe on Wednesday, hopefully. But if not, then this is going to be the last Vintage Club for a little period of time until we resume some weeks from now. Okay, the resources available, once again, once they're written and once Fanny uploads them, you'll be alerted in the WhatsApp and on the community. Okay, cheers now, bye-bye.